Okay, again, thank you very much for having us. My name is Rohit Prasad. I am a business development manager working here at Enapter in the Berlin office. I would like to talk to you today about the AEM electrolyzer, which, as Tobias so rightly mentioned, is smart, simple, and scalable. I will try to tell you today a little bit about the vision of Enapter and what we are really trying to achieve with our technology. And I've broken down my presentation into three parts, broadly speaking. So the hardware that we develop, the software focus that we have that matches this, as well as how we really intend to bring these products into mass production. So a little bit about Enapter. As I mentioned, I myself am based in the Berlin office, but we have our main R&D and manufacturing facility in Italy at the moment. We also have a very large software-based office in Russia, as well as a major office in Thailand to deal with Southeast Asian matters. So Enapter was founded in 2017. One thing that separates Enapter from the rest of the electrolyzer business, let's say, is that we have a very, very strong focus on developing and building modular and scalable electrolyzer technology. Now, part of that is rooted in the AEM technology that we develop. I'll get into that a little bit later. But to give you just an idea of what our vision is, well, our vision is very clear. We want to replace fossil fuels with green hydrogen. And everything we do is in pursuit of making that green hydrogen cost-effective and cheap. So we have, again, focus on hardware, software, and to close that loop, I'll be talking a little bit about how we bring those into mass production, which is really the way we believe to bring down the cost of green hydrogen in the long term. So Enapter is a developer of anion exchange membrane electrolyzer technology. If you've maybe heard about electrolyzers before, if you've done some research, for sure you must have heard of traditional alkaline electrolyzer technology, and you must have also heard of the traditional proton exchange membrane technology that's out there. Well, Enapter is one of the few companies in the world that has been able to commercialize the AEM technology that lies somewhere in between both alkaline and PEM, and as we like to say, has the strengths and advantages of both, allowing us to really come out with a product that sometimes you can consider as a PEM 2.0. So our focus is clearly on the electrolyzer business. As you can see from this graph here, hydrogen is nothing new. Hydrogen has been used in industries for decades. There are multiple different applications of hydrogen. On the left side of this, you see the production of green hydrogen, of course, connected with renewable energy sources. So we like to say that the electrolyzer is somewhat the missing link that connects the production of green electricity with all the different uses of hydrogen that are developing now, but also uses of hydrogen that have already existed for a very long time. So our focus, again, is to concentrate very strongly on the further development of electrolyzers. So how we do business is to work with what we like to call system integration partners. Partners who understand our electrolyzer technology, partners who are able to acquire that technology from us and package it into complete solutions, so connection with grid, connection with water utilities, connection with hydrogen storage systems, fuel cells, etc., whatever the end application may require. We always choose and prefer to work with system integration partners to build them up to the capability that they can then provide complete hydrogen solutions to their clients locally. So this is why I'm very happy to be here today. We are always looking out to promote our technology and to build local partnerships. But maybe a bit more on that later. So we have one standard flagship product. It is the EL 2.1. It's an electrolyzer that's not much bigger than a microwave. It's a completely scalable technology. It produces 1 kilogram of hydrogen a day, but can be scaled up to several kilograms, and of course also to the megawatt scale. This comes back to the title of my presentation: smart, simple, and scalable. Our belief is that the only way to bring down the cost of green hydrogen, or one of the best ways, let's put it that way, is to have the mass manufacturing of standard building blocks. So we have a very strong product-based mentality rather than a project-based mentality. We choose to provide one product that can fit many different applications and many different scales and sizes. And of course, that simplifies the mass manufacturing of electrolyzers in the future as well. I'll say a few words about our AEM technology. So anion exchange membrane, again, the construction of the stack itself is very similar to the traditional PEM technology, except that our membranes allow the exchange of anions rather than protons. But what that means on a system level is that this technology allows us to use very simple and cost-effective materials compared to PEM technologies, while still offering, let's say, the same high purities and the same performance that you would expect from PEM. So just to give you an example, we have a very, very low reliance, significantly lower reliance on platinum group metals than PEM does. And on top of that, we are able to use simple construction like steel instead of nickel that is common in the other electrolyzer technologies. But to sum that up, what that allows us to do really, and I'll go back one slide, is to produce this kind of standard module at a cost today of 9,000 euros. So it's an electrolyzer that's costed at 9,000 euros. Definitely these costs expected to come down significantly in the future. I would like to say here, this is a kind of a unique selling point of Enapter where most of our competition is not really able to do this size and scale of electrolyzer at this cost the way we can. To give you a little bit of our background of the technology, how it's developed, and where we're going in the future. So again, Enapter born in 2017. 2018, we had our first product. You can see here, since 2018, we've been bringing out better and improved iterations of the same module. You can see right at the bottom how our costs have reduced over the years as well. So starting in 2018, we had our first electrolyzer priced at just about 16,000 euros. We were able to bring down the cost to 11,000 and then today to 9,000 euros. Again, the same production capacity, so 1 kilogram scalable production a day. Just with every new iteration, we've made improvements. We've reduced the footprint, we've increased the efficiency, and we've been able to bring down the cost. Today we are, so the next big move for us, so to speak, will be to bring, again, the standard product into mass manufacturing. And that's where we expect starting in 2023 to have costs of electrolyzer coming down to anywhere between 2,500 euros, potentially even 1,000 euros, depending on the volumes of production. I'll close my slides later on speaking about the mass production, but for now, to continue on hardware. So it may seem at first glance that we are building a small electrolyzer, but to put this into context, the mentality of using standard scalable building blocks may be new in the electrolyzer business, but it's not really new in the solar business or the IT business, where in solar power parks of gigawatt scale capacities are actually built up of mass-produced solar panels, anywhere between 300 to 500 watts. In the IT business, it's not very different. Massive IT data centers are actually built of tiny supercomputers you can hold in your hand. The key has been in those industries, and we believe will be in our industry, to mass produce this standard building block. So we have what we call the platform-based approach. Our intention is to mass produce electrolyzers that can be applied or integrated in many different applications, many different sizes. You see some examples of cabinets here. So this is not an exact example of something that you would use in your home, but it's close to what some of our integration partners are using for residential energy storage, commercial energy storage. The same modules, the same technology can be packaged into containers for small-scale industrial applications. And something we have currently in development is taking these modules, this scalable mentality, and applying it even to the megawatt scale of electrolyzers, so the utility scale of electrolyzers. I will skip too much on this because the application today is residential and commercial energy storage. This is more of a utility market. But to wrap up, let's say, the hardware section of the presentation, Enapter has a product-based mentality. We want to build standard building blocks that can be used in any applications. And the last bit of that story will really be to mass produce these standard building blocks. And to put these products into the market, we're always looking for system integration partners who can, for example, create these kind of complete solutions, these cabinets and these containers, as you say here, and then combine them with fuel cells or hydrogen storage, whatever is needed by the end application. So as part of the business development team, it's a very important task for us to find these kind of partners locally, these system integrators, and develop business with them together. So I hope some of you in the audience will be interested to reach out to us. So to summarize that, we move on now to the software side. Now we understand that the energy transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy, including the use of hydrogen, will require not just good hardware, but also very, very good software solutions. In fact, part of our management has a very strong background coming from the IT, and they've instilled into our company, so to speak, this understanding that energy management system, software controls for energy, optimization of how energy is used, how hydrogen is produced, when it is produced, etc., is going to be very important, not just in the future, but today as well, to facilitate this energy transition. So we developed an energy management system, the Enapter Energy Management System, that to give you a very broad overview, what it allows you is not just to control and monitor the electrolyzer itself, but as a system integrator, you can use your energy management toolkits to connect third-party devices like fuel cells, like solar panels, like hydrogen storage pressure sensors, batteries, etc., and be able to monitor and control a complete installation remotely, of course, via one, let's say, user interface or one application, so to speak. A lot of our partners are coming with very strong technical backgrounds in electrical engineering, process engineering, mechanical engineering, but perhaps they're a little bit new to the software side and the control side. And we offer this, let's say, as a stepping stone for them to facilitate their introduction or stepping into the hydrogen business as well. I mean, a lot of what we do at Enapter is to simplify the entrance of our system integration partners, existing companies, into the clean energy business with our hardware and software. Some of the things you can do with our software is, again, as I said, control and monitor your entire installation. So we allow you to take into consideration what are your local conditions. For example, the sun is shining. Hey, electrolyzer, please wake up and start producing hydrogen. So we offer this kind of a toolkit for people to really dive in without having to invest or spend too much money or time into developing software. You can start using our energy management toolkit as a basis to build, so to speak, your own energy management toolkits. A little bit about our use cases. So this is always a tricky part for us because Enapter is a little bit, let's say, use case agnostic or application agnostic. Our whole mentality is to build a modular electrolyzer that can be applied to any different application. So any application where hydrogen is already being used or any application where you can imagine using hydrogen, well, the Enapter electrolyzer can help you make it green. But I've picked out a few use cases here to just briefly go over. These numbers, of course, have to be updated as well. We have over 150 customers across the globe at the moment who are building their businesses around our Enapter technology. So the Fisua House in Thailand, this is actually the house of our chairman. One of the earliest projects we had is Enapter, completely off the grid, powered by solar, where hydrogen is produced from solar energy, stored on site, and then reconverted back as needed to electrical energy via fuel cell systems. Another application of a similar type is scaled up a little bit to microgrid solutions. So small communities that are completely off the grid, hard to reach areas perhaps where diesel is not the best option or is an expensive option, let's say, where solar can allow you to become completely energy independent. Again, the combination is the same. It's solar stored as hydrogen and then reconverted via fuel cells or some other mechanism. There are peak shaving applications that use, technically speaking, the same constellation or same combination of the different components. It's just the way that the energy management systems are set out are ideally suited to peak shaving in this case. A little bit about industrial applications, just so we don't miss the point that the technology can be used anywhere. We have projects, this one is an example in the Netherlands, where hydrogen is being used to investigate heating applications, a mixture with natural gas grids. So in the future, it's this is one of the major applications of hydrogen where gas can be mixed, or hydrogen can be mixed in natural gas. Of course, there's some work to be done on that, but our partners, our customers are already starting to investigate these kind of applications and the viability of these by setting up these kind of demonstration projects. So we have customers around the world. Again, the application area is always a bit tricky for us to say, but as you can see, there's peak shaving, there's microgrid applications, there's residential applications. I didn't mention before, but in Germany, we're partnered up with companies like Home Power Solutions, who are actually putting, a product into consumers' homes, into their basement, so to speak, if in some cases, where excess solar during the summer is being stored and converted into hydrogen, and then in some cases being reconverted back to electricity in the winter months when there's a lack of solar energy available. But hydrogen applications extend also to hydrogen mobility. Refueling stations is something that we're very keenly interested in, and we think this is going to grow in the coming years. Backup for telecom stations, potentially interesting market for India, in fact. And of course, district heating, off-grid solutions. The whole broad range of applications is possible with just one simple building block, so to speak. Now, to close off that story, we've talked about hardware, we've talked about software and applications, but what is the next big thing? What is really going to be the game changer? So what you're looking at here are plans for the Enapter Campus in northwestern Germany. The planning and construction of this campus has already begun. One of the main goals of this campus will be to be an R&D center for Enapter, and also our mass manufacturing facility. So the modules that you saw earlier in the slides, our intention is to produce 10,000 of these modules in the matter of a month. So over 100,000 modules on a yearly basis, giving you a total electrolyzer capacity, production capacity of nearly 300 megawatts. Now that is, in our view, one of the only ways to bring down the cost of green hydrogen mass production. And it comes back to our product development strategy, which is again, standard modular scalable building blocks that can actually be produced in mass. In fact, it's a lot easier to produce something in mass that's as big as a little lunchbox or a little microwave than it is to produce electrolysers in mass that are actually as big as buildings. As some of our other friends in the electrolyzer business seem to be going in that direction. We have a very different mentality, but we also, of course, put our money where our mouth is, so to speak. The plans for this campus is to be completely powered by green energy. Part of the reason why we selected this location as Germany is because of the availability of abundant green energy that can be supplied to our campus for our production facilities, for our R&D facilities, and essentially for the entire Enapter campus. So we have 160, maybe a little bit more employees today. I joined the company last year where we were about 60, so we're growing very fast. The scaling is the next big step for us in our mass production facility in Enapter, the Enapter campus in northwestern Germany. We plan to employ up to 300 more people, 100% powered by renewable energy. And to close off the presentation, I can only stress that we are a technology developer. We focus on electrolyzers. We have a very strong vision and goal to bring down the costs of green hydrogen, but to bring our products into the market, to have the real applications for hydrogen that everyone is so interested in exploring today. We are always looking for system integration partners that we can help, we can support, and that we can work with. To change the world, essentially. And with that, I will stop. I'm very happy to answer any questions. I hope I've given you a good overview of who we are and what we do. Looking forward to your questions.
Yeah, thank you, Rohit ji. We will have a Q&A at the end after the next presentation. But just maybe a few small questions in between. Since you were mentioning you're using a new technology, you're using the AM membranes, there have been lots of questions in regard to this, if there is other water purification requirements, so what needs to be done in terms of pre-treatment of the water, then lifetime expectations, if you can shed some light on it. And one was asking if it is as flexible as PEM or if it is more comparable to alkaline.
Wonderful. Actually, I suppose I should have answered these in my presentation already, but thank you for bringing them up. So water purification. So our technology requires a less stringent quality of water than the PEM technologies. To give you a concrete example, our electrolyzers are fine with water that has less than 20 microsiemens of conductivity per centimeter. To give you a comparison, PEM is usually less than 1 microsiemens. That's a big difference. I think your next question was lifetime. So, of course, we've systems in over 140 countries, 140 customers, 33 different countries. Our systems are running continuously, and our lifetime expectations also improve as our technology is being run. So today we say the expected lifetime is over 35,000 operating hours. If you put that into context of a solar-based application where you're looking at 8 hours of production a day, perhaps 2,000, 3,000 hours of production in a year, then you're looking at a total lifetime of the system for many, many years. Of course, that depends on the kind of application. And Tobias, if you wouldn't mind reminding me what the last question was, the third one.
Flexibility?
Flexibility, yeah. So yes, so AEM is also constructed very similar to PEM, and in fact has the same flexibility. Our systems are designed actually for connection with renewable energy. So the fluctuations of renewable energy are completely manageable with our systems as well.
Then directly the question, have you been in touch with the Indian developers wanting to integrate your electrolyzer in their systems? Are you active in the Indian market already?
Yes, absolutely. So this goes back to how Enapter does business. We ourselves will always work through system integration partners, and we have a few competent ones in India already who have taken our systems and installed them. So we have a handful of systems at end customers in India already now. We're hoping that, of course, this handful changes to much, much larger. And maybe perhaps to close that off, yeah, we're always happy and looking to work with new partners that want to work with us.
Maybe one more question in this regard, where someone is asking if he is developing a greenfield project, if he can already get in touch with you and get support from you, or if you would refer to someone who is in the developing business itself in India.
I think they can definitely reach out to us directly. We have a conversation and then see what the best step would be for him and who to introduce him in the local market. So I'm happy if my contact information will be shared with anybody. Feel free to reach out to us and we'll find a way forward.